What's up, jerks? Wanted to do a video response for my INFJ buddy, Ryan Earl Moore. He just did an awesome video on how INFJs can really help people. I really liked the part where he talked about asking the right kind of questions that put their mind in a situation that really creates change. And that is one of the keys to really helping people. I also wanted to point out how accurate his definitions of the functions are and how true it is that INFJs have all the tools that you would need to help people, which is why all of the books and stuff are like, oh, INFJs are counselors. Now, what I wanted to specifically talk about is the duality in all of us as far as decision making is concerned. The thing is, we all have two decision making processes inside of us, and they don't always get along. Okay, so we have ESFJ and ISTJ. What I want you to notice is the deciding functions. The extroverted feeling and the introverted thinking on the ESFJ, and then the extroverted thinking and the introverted feeling on the ISTJ. Now, here's the thing. The extroverted functions are objective, or at least more objective than the introverted functions. So they're always looking outside of themselves going, what's right to everybody else? What's right to the world? What makes sense according to the world and everything else outside of me? The introverted functions are introspective and subjective, so they're like, okay, what makes sense to me? What feels right to me? And so we all have both of these inside of us working all the time. The takeaway really is, you don't always agree with yourself. And so when you're saying one thing, you might actually be thinking and desiring another. And so specifically when Ryan was talking about his friend that's in a relationship issue, if she has extroverted feelings, she's probably looking at other relationships and other people, or looking in the past at maybe her parents and going, okay, this relationship that I'm in isn't a good example of a relationship that I've seen. So she's thinking logically in her head. By the way, feeling is logical. It's just social logic, not mechanical logic. So she's thinking logically in her head, extroverted feeling, it doesn't make sense to the rest of the world, so it shouldn't make sense to me, so I should leave. Well, what might be happening is the introverted thinking, the subjective side of her is going, I actually don't mind this relationship. The extroverted feeling is screaming and saying that it isn't appropriate to the outside world, but my TI actually doesn't mind it all that much. And what you get is this duality of somebody that seems like they want to move, when in all reality at their core they probably don't. We all have that introverted function that's subjective, and honestly it's a necessary part of our brain. How else would you decide what flavor of ice cream to pick? So I would appeal to the subjective introverted function of asking, hey, what's going on in your head? What's actually making sense to you? Not what makes sense to the world. Because she's looking outside of herself and definitely going, oh, this doesn't make sense. And the inside is saying, I don't mind this all that much. Or it might be the opposite. Maybe the inside doesn't like it, but the outside does. In either case, there's an inconsistency, and that's why you're not seeing forward movement, because her TI and her FE aren't agreeing. I'd also like to point out that the thinking-feeling difference that Myers-Briggs talks about is really a fallacy, because we all have a thinking side and we all have a feeling side to us, and even if you're thinking dominant or feeling dominant, the other side of you is dominant the other way. If you're an extroverted feeler, you're an introverted thinker. And a lot of feelers are very rational as far as thinking is concerned, and a lot of thinkers are very emotional. And so really it boils down to which deciding function are you listening to? Because both of them are screaming inside your head. So guys, tell me, what's your favorite psychological type? As always, leave any questions you're curious about. I'll answer them to the best of my ability, and see you next time.